Now, how the profit maximization is decided? So, we have now understood firm's demand, the industry and firm demand we have understood. Let us say this is the demand curve that the firm is facing, P equals to MR equals to AR, that is the demand curve. Let us assume this is the MC curve. As we know that MC curve is generally upward sloping U shape, but here we are assuming a straight line for simplicity. Let us say that this is MC. So, obviously, what I said, that equilibrium requires MR equals to MC, which is achieved here. So, this is Q star and this is the P star for that individual firm, right. So, P equals to MR equals to MC. So, that means in a particular firm, this is the equilibrium in the short run, please remember, short run equilibrium which requires MR equals to MC, and since P is equals to MR in this particular case, we write P equals to MR equals to MC. This is the condition, this is known as profit max condition in a competitive market. In a competitive market, right, in a competitive market. Now, why this is equilibrium? What happens if, let us say, firm started at Q2? What is happening here? At Q2, MC marginal cost is much higher than the marginal revenue which is here. So, when marginal cost is higher than marginal revenue, what should the rational firm do? Firm should actually reduce the output, and if you do so, the saving in your marginal cost is much higher than the revenue what you are losing. Okay. So, let us say this is some P2. So, if you reduce Q2 to, let us say, Q2 prime, then this is your P2 prime, right. So, the loss in your revenue, the loss in your revenue will be lower than the cost, marginal cost that you are saving. So, that means as long as your marginal cost is higher than the marginal revenue, you should reduce the quantity to maximize your profit. At the same time, let us say this is Q1. What is happening here? Here MR is actually greater than MC. Okay. MR is much greater than MC. So, that means you should actually keep on increasing the output, and that is why this is the equilibrium where MR equals to MC is achieved. Okay. So, as long as MR marginal revenue is greater than the marginal cost, firm will keep on producing, and when the marginal revenue is less than the marginal cost, the firm will keep on reducing the output, and at optimality MR equals to MC will be achieved. And since in a competitive market price is also equals to MR, then P equals to MR equals to MC is known as the competitive short run equilibrium. Now, let us talk about the supply function in the competitive market. Supply function. We know the demand function, which is nothing but the P equals to MR equals to AR. This is the demand. What about the supply? Look at here. This is Q, this is P, and let us say this is the MR curve, and this is P1. So, when it is P1, your quantity is Q1. Now, let us say the price has increased from P1 to P2. Now, what should the firm do? When the price has increased to P2, then your this is not MR, this is MC, upward sloping MC curve. If it is P2, then obviously the equilibrium is achieved here. So, firm will adjust the output by revising it upward. Similarly, if it is P3, they will again revising it upward. So, that means in a way we can say that this upward sloping MC curve is actually the supply curve for the firm. Okay. We have already discussed this earlier when we were talking about inverse demand function and then the supply function. We said that supply function is nothing but what is the minimum price that the supplier must receive to supply that particular amount. And how do you decide that? What is the minimum acceptable price? That is decided by the cost of production, particularly the marginal cost. When I am supplying one additional unit, what should be the minimum price I must receive? The minimum price should be decided obviously by the marginal cost. That is why this upward sloping MC curve is the supply function or supply curve for a firm operating in a competitive market. So, supply function is nothing but upward sloping MC curve is the supply curve, right. Upward sloping MC curve is the supply curve for the firm. Now, the question is, how do you determine the profit? So, profit, determination of profit. Profit is always equals to, as I said, total revenue minus total cost, right. Now, this I can always write as TR by Q minus TC by Q whole multiplied by Q. I have divided and then I have multiplied. Okay. Now, TR by Q is nothing but P into Q by Q and this is nothing but total cost divided by Q is nothing but your average total cost, and that is multiplied by Q, and this is P minus ATC multiplied by Q. So, the P minus ATC is the profit per unit. This is called profit per unit. Which is very easy. If you sell 1 unit, you will get revenue as P, and then what is the average cost? That is the cost of production for that unit. So, P minus ATC is basically the profit per unit, and then if you multiply that with total output, you will get total profit. So, this is total profit or total pie I am dividing. So, in terms of a single diagram, if you represent this, let us say this is my P equals to MR equals to AR, right. So, you have this ATC, and you also have MC. So, MC and ATC, if you recall, both are U-shaped, and MC cuts ATC at its minimum point, right, at its minimum point. So, MR equals to MC is achieved here. This is your MC and this is your MR, and this is also your P. So, that means this difference actually gives you, this is the difference, this is P minus ATC. It is the margin per unit, and if this is your total output, then you multiply this with the total output, you will get the total profit. Okay? P minus ATC multiplied by Q. But one thing we have not discussed, we said that MC curve is the upward sloping, MC curve is the supply curve. The question is this entire MC supply or a portion of MC is the supply curve? That we need to understand. So, so far we said that upward sloping MC curve is the supply curve. Then question is the entire MC is the entire MC curve is supply curve. To understand that, we need to introduce two more concepts that the firm does in a competitive situation. When should the firm supply any quantity, that means remain live in business? When should the firm stop production for short term, which is called shutdown, and when should the firm exit from the market? So, two things we need to understand: shutdown and exit condition. So, let us first talk about shutdown. So, we are first talking about shutdown condition. For example, let us assume a farmer has taken a piece of land by renting. So, that means even if the farmer does not produce anything in that land, the farmer must give rent. So, rent is a fixed cost then. Rent is a fixed cost. Whether you produce or do not produce, you have to pay the rent. That is why a rent which is fixed, at least in the short run, is also known as sunk cost. And that should not guide you to decide whether to produce or not to produce. Please remember, I am talking about only the short run situation. In the short run, you are not able to sell your land. So, you are having the land for which you are paying rent, and that rent amount does not depend on your production. You produce or not produce, you must pay rent. So, that is why rent is sunk in the short run. That should not guide the farmers to decide whether to produce or not. What should decide then the farmer's decision? About the variable cost. Depends on production. If the farmers produce more, then more labor he has to hire, more seeds, more pesticides, so on and so forth. And these are all called variable cost, because it varies with the amount of output that the farmer is going to produce. Now, the farmer is deciding whether to produce or not, and in economics, as I told you earlier, all the decisions are based on cost and benefit, right. So, if the farmer does not produce or shut down, then what is the benefit? Can you think of? If I do not produce, what is my benefit? Benefit equals to the variable cost that you can save. Okay. So, variable cost or VC that is saved. Okay. Is that fine? And then what is the loss? Loss is basically the total revenue. All right. So, that means as long as this benefit is higher than the loss, then the farm will shut down. Okay. Then what is the shutdown condition? Your benefit of shutting down should be more than the cost or loss. This is cost equals to loss in TR, TR lost. You understand? If the farmer does not produce, farmer can save the variable cost in terms of labor, seeds, pesticides, so on and so forth. What would be the loss if the farmer does not produce? The revenue that the farmer was enjoying. If I divide both the sides by Q, then what will happen? variable cost divided by Q is AVC, and total revenue divided by output is price, because this is nothing but P into Q. So, when P is less than AVC, that is basically the shutdown condition. So, that means the price has gone to such a level that the farmer is not able to get even the average variable cost. Then why should I produce? If I produce one bag of rice, I get 10 rupees. Let us say that this is 10, cost of production is 25. Why should the farmer produce? Average variable cost is 25, much higher than 10. So, that means if AVC is actually greater than the price, farmer should shut down. But please remember, shut down does not mean exit from the market. This is only a short term situation. Farmers should stop production for temporarily and wait for market conditions to improve. Okay? Wait for the market condition to improve. So, that means if you plot this AVC, MC and ATC, let us say this is your ATC, this is your MC, and this is AVC. We said that all are U-shaped, right. So, that means the entire supply curve, entire MC curve is not the supply, rather, sorry, the way I have drawn, it should cut here. So, that means minimum price should be, so that means your relevant portion of MC is only this much, Okay. So, if price, let us say this is AVC, also you are measuring, let us say this is AVC star. So, price should always more than this AVC, then only the farmer would be able to supply. If price falls below that AVC, then farmers will not be able to supply. So, the upward sloping MC starting from the point where P is greater than AVC. All right. So, not the entire supply, this is not the relevant supply curve. This portion of the MC is not relevant, is not the supply curve, because here price is actually less than AVC. All right. So, any price at which this is relevant, this is relevant, these are all relevant, because here price is greater than AVC, that is achieved. Minimum it should be AVC amount to be alive in the market, otherwise farm will shut down, and the shutdown condition is P less than average variable cost. Okay. You shut down and then wait market conditions to improve. Now, let us talk about exit. When should the firm exit from the market? See, shutdown condition, we said that total revenue is, look at this, we said total revenue should be when the farmer is shutting down, total revenue is less than variable cost. Why variable cost? Because fixed cost we are not able to control in the short run. Now, in the long run, farmer now is able to even sell the land also. So, the fixed cost, the rent of land which was sunk or fixed in the short run is no longer fixed in the long run. Now, everything is under the farmer's control. So, that means now the farmer will decide whether the total cost is greater than the total revenue or not. Okay. So, if this is the case, that means if you divide both the side T C by Q greater than T R by Q, so that means A T C greater than P. So, if P is less than average total cost, then the farmer should exit from the market. So, farmer will sell the land and exit from the business and do something else. Indirectly, we can think of if P is greater than ATC, then what will happen? That means there is positive profit, because we defined earlier P minus ATC is the profit per unit. This is profit per unit. So, as long as P is greater than ATC, there is profit that will attract new firms to enter into the industry. So, that means P greater than ATC means as and when P becomes greater than ATC, new firms enter into the industry because there is free entry and exit. Okay. P greater than ATC means there is positive profit, firms will enter, there is free entry, and eventually you will get P equals to ATC. That means if you again multiply P into Q equals to ATC into Q. So, that means your total revenue TR equals to TC. This is the long run equilibrium condition. Okay. TR equals to TC. So, in terms of diagram, then this is Q, this is P. Let us say that this is ATC, average total cost, this is let us say MC. So, in the long run, this is P equals to MR equals to AR. So, in the long run, then the firm should earn a profit which is just called normal profit. That means P equals to, let us say this is Q star and this is P star. Okay, this is long run equilibrium. Okay. So, P equals to, this is called long run, I can say that this is long run average cost curve, P equals to LAC, and firms earn normal profit. Now, I am saying in the long run P equals to LAC. So, that means your total revenue equals to total cost, that is what we have derived. See, TR equals to TC. Now, when TR equals to TC, that means TR minus TC actually equals to 0. What does this normal profit means? That means firm is actually a competitive firm earns 0 profit in the long run. Then the important question is, should the firm be there in business in the long run a competitive firm will always achieve long run equilibrium at this point where you get P equals to, this is I say long run average cost curve, ATC, average total cost is long run. So, P equals to LAC. Okay. When the P equals to LAC is achieved, that means you are earning 0 profit. Why should the firm be there in business earning 0 profit? So, that means in the long run no firm should be there in the market and market supply should collapse to 0. Is that the case? The answer is no. That means the firm should be there in business even in the long run. The answer to this question is yes. Now, why this is so? When I am saying TR equals to TC, what is this TC? This is basically, now you remembered in that previously we discussed, total cost has two components, explicit plus implicit. So, explicit means the cost which is going out of your pocket. What is implicit cost for the firm? That means opportunity cost of time and energy. So, implicit plus explicit if you take, that is called total opportunity cost. Now, when the firm is able to get the total opportunity cost, that means when the total revenue equals to the total opportunity cost, what does it mean? It means that is the best thing you can do at that point of time. Okay? As long as total revenue equals to total cost, that means firm is able to get implicit plus explicit cost back. So, money out of pocket plus my time, my energy, opportunity cost of my saving, whatever I have invested, everything taken together is total cost. So, that is total opportunity cost. And when you are able to get that money back, that means the firm is able to do what the firm is doing at that point of time, that is the best available option. If the firm gets something better, that means the opportunity cost will go up. Okay? And at that point of time, total revenue would be less than total cost. if better option is found out. As long as no better options are there, that means that is the total opportunity cost, that is equals to total revenue also, and firm is able to get the total cost back. Firm will be there in business. The moment firm finds something better, that means actually your total cost is going up, because you are then sacrificing something better than what you are doing right now, and that point of time the particular firm will leave the market. Otherwise, total revenue equals to total cost does not mean the firm will leave the market, because when I am saying zero profit, it actually means zero economic profit. Please keep in mind economic profit, okay, because I am subtracting total cost, but accounting profit is still positive. Is still greater than 0. Why? Because in accounting profit you will subtract only the explicit portion, no implicit cost is included. So, even when you are earning 0 economic profit, you are still earning a positive accounting profit, and that is why firm will still there be in business even in the long run, right. So, this thing we should keep in our mind. So, that means in the short run the output and price determination is given by that MR equals to MC, and that since P equals to MR, we said that P equals to MR equals to MC. But long run, in the long run what is happening, P equals to MC is still there, but P equals to LAC equals to MC. That is the long run condition, and P equals to only MC when you consider, that is the short run equilibrium condition for a perfectly competitive market. Okay. So, in the short run it is possible for the firm to earn 0 economic profit, but in the long run it is not possible, because the moment you have positive economic profit, P is greater than ATC, new firms will enter, and then you will always get P equals to ATC, 0 economic profit or normal profit, but firm will still be there in business, because that is the best thing the firm can do at that point of time. With this, we are closing our discussion on perfectly competitive market today. In our next class, we will discuss about other forms of market structure. Thank you.